Patrick Swayze was more than just a movie star. He was a force of nature. He was the swaggering dance instructor who taught us that nobody puts baby in a corner. The ghostly lover who proved that love transcends death, and the tough-as-nails bouncer who cleaned up the rowdiest bar in Missouri. He had this unique blend of masculine grace, rugged charm, and a vulnerability that made him feel both larger than life and deeply human. His characters were unforgettable, but the man himself was even more so. He was a trained ballet dancer, a skilled martial artist, a licensed pilot, a singer, a songwriter, and a devoted husband. His life was a testament to passion and perseverance. A story of a Texas boy who danced his way to the heights of Hollywood. But his greatest and most courageous role was one he never auditioned for one. He played not on a soundstage, but in the quiet of his own home, in a valiant and heartbreaking fight for his life. In his final moments, far from the glare of Hollywood, lights surrounded by a love that had spanned 34 years, he whispered 3 final words to his wife, Lisa Nemi. Those words and the profound, quiet intimacy of his peaceful passing reveal the true heart of the man behind the legend. It's a story of incredible love, immense courage, and a farewell so poignant it continues to touch hearts years later. He was a cultural phenomenon. It's an actor whose magnetism practically leaped off the screen. With a career that defined an era, Patrick Swayze became a household name, a symbol of a certain kind of romantic hero, tough on the outside, but with a soul full of poetry and passion. From the rebellious charm of Johnny Castle to the spectral devotion of Sam Wheat, he created characters that weren't just watched, but felt. He earned Golden Globe nominations, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, was even named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive in 1991. But beneath all the awards and iconic roles was a man of surprising depth, whose most enduring production was the life and love he built away from the cameras. This is the story of that man, the love that defined him, and the final devastating battle he faced with a courage that would become his ultimate legacy. And it all culminates in a single whispered phrase, the last he would ever speak, that says everything about a lifetime of devotion. Patrick Wayne Swayze was born on August 18, 1952, in Houston, Texas, and his journey to stardom was anything but ordinary. He wasn't just another handsome face discovered at a soda shop. He was a product of discipline, artistry, and pure grit. His mother, Patsy Swayze, was a force in her own right, a choreographer and the owner of the Houston Jazz Ballet Company. It was in her studio that a young Patrick was first introduced to dance. While other boys were on the football field, Swayze was mastering classical ballet. That path wasn't always easy. He was often teased by classmates for his artistic pursuits. But that early judgment forged a resilience in him. To prove he was tough, he threw himself into athletics with equal ferocity, excelling in gymnastics and football, hoping to earn a college scholarship until a knee injury sidelined those ambitions. That injury, however, turned out to be a blessing in disguise, steering him back toward his first love, dance. After a stint touring as Prince Charming in a Disney On Parade ice show, he moved to New York City in 1972 to train with the prestigious Arkness and Joffrey Ballet Companies. His talent was undeniable, and he was soon a principal dancer with the acclaimed Elliott Feld Ballet Company. But fate intervened again. A recurring issue with his old football injury led to major knee surgery and a subsequent infection, forcing him to leave the company. It was a devastating blow, but Swayze wasn't one to be defeated. He pivoted, redirecting his talent toward the stage and landing a replacement gig as Danny Zuko in Broadway's hit musical, Grease. That stage success was his gateway to Hollywood. After a film debut in the 1979 roller disco flick Skate Town, he landed his breakout screen role in Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 classic, The Outsiders. As Daryl Derry Curtis, the tough but loving older brother, Swayze stood out in a cast of future superstars like Tom Cruise, Matt Dillon, and Rob Lowe. The film put Swayze on the map. He followed it with the Cold War action film Red Dawn and the epic miniseries North and South, which made him a household name. But it was in 1987 that he became a global superstar. Dirty Dancing, a low-budget film expected to have a short theatrical run, became a cultural touchstone. Johnny Castle, the brooding dance instructor from the wrong side of the tracks. Swayze was a revelation. He wasn't just acting the part of a dancer. He was a dancer, and the world was mesmerized. The film's iconic line, "Nobody puts baby in a corner," became an anthem for a generation. Swayze also co-wrote and performed a hit song, "She's Like the Wind," which soared up the music charts and earned him his first Golden Globe nomination. He refused to be typecast, following his romantic triumph with tough guy roles in action films like Roadhouse and Point Break. Then, in 1990, he delivered perhaps his most beloved performance in Ghost. Starring opposite Demi Moore, Swayze played Sam Wheat, a murdered banker whose spirit lingers to protect his girlfriend. The film was a massive sensation, and the pottery wheel scene became one of cinema's most iconic romantic moments. The role earned him his second Golden Globe nomination. Throughout the 90s, he continued to take on unexpected roles, from an elegant drag queen in Asterisk to Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar Asterisk, to a host of other complex characters. He wasn't just a romantic lead or an action hero. He was a true artist, willing to push boundaries and challenge expectations. This was the Patrick Swayze the world knew and adored. Behind the Hollywood icon was a love story as epic as any he portrayed on screen. His 34-year marriage to Lisa Nemi was the bedrock of his life, a bond forged in a shared passion long before the fame. Their story began in 1970 at his mother's dance studio in Houston. He was 18, a confident young dancer with a bit of a Casanova reputation. She was Lisa Hoppenimi, a quiet and talented 14-year-old student. Patrick, used to girls falling for his charms, was intrigued by the one who seemed immune. Didn't by any of my nonsense, he would later admit. It was their shared love of dance that truly brought them together. Lisa remembered the first time they danced together at a school exhibition. "We walked out on stage. I looked in his eyes. It was like everything came alive," she said. Patrick saw something special in her, too. "I knew she was the smartest chick I'd ever met in my life," he told People magazine. After Patrick moved to New York to pursue his dance career, Lisa followed. They married on June 12, 1975, in a simple ceremony in her family's backyard in the same dance studio where they first met. She was 19. He was 2. Their marriage was a true partnership. When Patrick was preparing for Dirty Dancing, it was Lisa he rehearsed with. The song he co-wrote for the film, "She's Like the Wind," was inspired by her. They were a team, even starring alongside each other in the 2003 film One Last Dance, which was based on a play Lisa had written. But their relationship wasn't a fairy tale. It was real, and it faced real-world pressures. The sudden crush of fame after Dirty Dancing was difficult. In 1982, Patrick was devastated by his father's sudden death, which sent him into a period of heavy drinking. The couple also faced the heartbreak of a miscarriage in 1990. These pressures took a toll, even leading to a brief separation in 2004. But their love was resilient. They fought for their relationship and always found their way back to each other. Patrick once described their dynamic perfectly. "Our fights are huge, but I love that they're huge." Theirs was a passionate, sometimes tumultuous, but always profound connection, rooted in a deep, unwavering mutual respect. To truly understand Patrick Swayze, you have to look beyond Hollywood and into the dusty, sun-drenched landscape of his personal sanctuary. At his core, he was a cowboy, a man who found more peace with horses and nature than on any red carpet. In the 1980s, he fulfilled a lifelong dream by purchasing a 4.5-acre equestrian property in California's San Fernando Valley. He lovingly dubbed it Rancho Bizarro. This wasn't some glitzy celebrity mansion, which was a working ranch, a haven for his greatest passion outside of performing, breeding Arabian horses. The home itself was rustic and unpretentious, with wood-paneled rooms and exposed beams reflecting the couple's down-to-earth nature. It even had a dance studio, a nod to where it all began. Life at Rancho Bizarro was about getting back to basics. It was where Patrick could shed his movie star persona and just be Buddy, Lisa's nickname for him. It was a place of hard work and simple pleasures, caring for their many animals. But as much as they loved their California home, they craved even more seclusion. In the mid-1990s, they found their ultimate paradise, a sprawling 7,261-acre ranch in the mountains of New Mexico. They called it Rancho de Dias Alegres, or Ranch of Happy Days. Patrick had fallen in love with the New Mexico landscape while filming Red Dawn. Years earlier, this ranch was their true escape. It was vast and wild, with the Galenas River running through it. Here, they could truly disconnect. They were both licensed pilots and would fly their own plane between their homes in California and New Mexico. Rancho de Dias Alegres was more than just property. It was Patrick's healing place. It was where he felt most grounded, most himself. It was here that the couple renewed their wedding vows in 2008, a quiet reaffirmation of shine in the face of a terminal diagnosis. Patrick Swayze did the unthinkable. He went back to work. He was determined to complete the first season of the A&E series, The Beast, in which he starred as a rogue undercover FBI agent. Filming a demanding TV show is grueling for any actor. For a man undergoing aggressive chemotherapy, it was a Herculean feat. He flew to Chicago in the summer of 2008 to shoot the 13-episode season. He refused to take painkillers on set, fearing they would dull his performance. This meant he had to endure immense physical pain while navigating long workdays. His co-workers were in awe of his stamina. His wife, Lisa, was his constant source of support. But being a caregiver was exhausting. She described the experience as living in a complete nightmare 24/7. She kept detailed notes on his treatments, becoming his dedicated health advocate and emotional anchor. For Patrick, working on The Beast was a way to fight back and feel normal. It gave him something to focus on besides the illness. Many believe his sheer determination to finish the show helped him live far beyond his initial prognosis. As one reviewer wrote, "When watching the show, you realize this is the best performance of his career, that the opportunity to play a part like this may be fueling his ability to keep fighting against the cancer." The Beast premiered in January 2009, and viewers were captivated. Swayze was gaunt, his face etched with the strain of his battle, but his eyes burned with a mesmerizing intensity. He had channeled his pain and his fight for life into the character, delivering a performance layered with grit and authenticity. Despite positive reviews for his performance, the show wasn't renewed due to his declining health. But he had accomplished his goal, leaving behind a powerful final testament to his indomitable spirit. After the incredible effort of filming The Beast, Patrick's health began to decline more rapidly. The public battle transitioned into a private, intimate struggle at home. Spring and summer of 2009 were harrowing. In April, doctors informed him that the cancer had spread further to his liver. In her memoir, Worth Fighting For, Lisa Nemi paints a picture of these final months that is both heartbreaking and beautiful. The world shrank to the confines of their California ranch, where Lisa dedicated herself completely to his comfort. The pain became relentless. By early September, his body, which had fought so valiantly for 20 months, was shutting down. After another hospitalization, doctors delivered the words they both dreaded: "There's nothing more we can do." On September 9th, Patrick returned to his California home for the last time. The man who had once filled screens with his dynamic energy now spent his days in bed. Lisa rarely left his side. She cherished their time alone, holding his hand, listening to music. "Sleeping with my arm around him, my head on his shoulder, wordlessly. The house was kept dim and quiet, with only close family visiting. The man the world saw as an icon of strength was now frail, his breathing shallow. Lisa wrote that his breathing became childlike, a description that captures the heartbreaking vulnerability of his final hours. The battle was over. This was a time for peace and for a love that had weathered every storm to guide him gently on his final journey, in the quiet stillness of his final days. As Patrick drifted in and out of consciousness, there was one last moment of perfect, heartbreaking clarity. It was a Friday. Lisa was by his side as she'd been throughout their entire journey. He was weak, his voice barely a whisper, but he looked at his wife, the woman he had loved for most of his life. Gathering the last of his strength, he spoke. There was no dramatic monologue, no poetic final statement. There was only the truth, distilled into its purest form. He looked at Lisa and whispered 3 simple words. "I love you." Lisa leaned in close and whispered the same 3 words back. To him, "I love you too." Those were the last words they would ever say to each other. In her memoir, Lisa confirmed this exchange, putting to rest any speculation about more dramatic final statements. "My last words to Patrick. I love you." And those were his last words to me, she wrote. 3 words. I love you. It was the perfect summation of a lifetime together. It was the final expression of a bond that had withstood fame, tragedy, and a brutal illness. In that one final exchange, they encapsulated their entire shared history. Over the next 2 days, Patrick slipped into a coma, never speaking again. His final conscious act was to give and receive the love that had been the defining force of his life. After whispering his final words to Lisa, Patrick Swayze settled into a deep, peaceful coma. For the next 2 days, he remained at their home. Surrounded by love, Lisa never left his side. On the morning of Monday, September 14th, 2009, the long and arduous fight drew to a close. In the quiet of Monday morning, Lisa wrote, "I looked at his face and listened to the tiny sips of air he was taking. ... I knew it was time." She held his hand, cherishing the last moments. Then, at 10 o'clock that morning, he took one last deep breath and was gone. Patrick Swayze died peacefully at home in Los Angeles with his family by his side. He was 57 years old. The 20-month battle, fought with incredible courage, is finally over. Lisa's final acts of love were deeply personal. She brought one of his favorite horses to the window of the house for a final goodbye and placed a single white rose on his chest. It was an ending not of tragedy but of profound peace. In accordance with his wishes, Patrick was cremated. His ashes were later scattered across the sprawling, rugged landscape of his beloved New Mexico ranch, Rancho de Diaz Alegres. It was the perfect final resting place for the cowboy who had found his heaven on earth. He became one with the land he loved, spirit forever free. Patrick Swayze's death marked the end of an era, but his legacy was already immortal. It lives on in iconic films like Dirty Dancing and Ghost, whose famous lines and scenes are woven into our collective memory. "Nobody puts baby in a corner" remains a declaration of love and defiance for generations. But his legacy extends beyond his on-screen charisma. His public, courageous battle with pancreatic cancer shone a desperately needed spotlight on a disease, often called the silent killer. By facing his illness in the open, he gave a voice to the brutal reality of pancreatic cancer, inspiring countless patients and their families. His wife, Lisa Swayze, has tirelessly carried on this part of his legacy. In the years since his death, she has become a passionate national spokesperson for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, PANCAN. Her work ensures that his fight continues, transforming their personal tragedy into a source of hope for others. And then there is the legacy of their love story itself. It's the story of Patrick and Lisa, 2 teenagers who met in a dance studio and built a life together that spanned over 3 decades, is a testament to the enduring power of partnership. Their final whispered words, "I love you," serve as the perfect, heartbreaking symbol of that devotion. Lisa Nemi remarried in 2014, a decision she found peace with. She has said that her love for Patrick doesn't conflict with her new relationship, stating, "Just because you lose someone doesn't mean love stops." Her ability to find happiness again is, in itself, a testament to the life-affirming spirit she and Patrick shared. Ultimately, Patrick Swayze's legacy is one of passion, courage, and love. It's in every dance inspired by Johnny Castle, every tear shed for Sam Wheat, and every person who finds strength in his story. He was a man who lived with his whole heart, fought with all his might, and loved until his very last breath. The story of Patrick Swayze's life and the profound love he shared with Lisa Nemi is a powerful reminder of courage in the face of immense struggle. His memory continues to inspire so many. How has Patrick Swayze's work or his story touched your life? Please share your favorite movie moment or a memory in the comments below. And if you found this story moving, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories that honor the lives of those who have left a lasting mark on our world. From the dance studios of Houston to the grandest stages of Hollywood, Patrick Swayze's journey was one of relentless passion. He was the rare star who possessed both rugged masculinity and a dancer's grace, an action hero's grit and a romantic lead's soul. He taught a generation that strength and vulnerability weren't opposites, but two sides of the same heroic coin. Yet, for all the iconic roles he played, his most profound performance was his own life. A life defined by a fierce loyalty to his art, an unwavering commitment to love, and breathtaking courage in his final act. The final words he spoke to his wife, simple, perfect, "I love you," weren't just a farewell. They were the ultimate expression of the truth that guided his entire existence. That love is the one thing worth fighting for, the one thing that endures. His passing was peaceful, a quiet end to a life lived out loud, but his spirit remains. It lives on in his films, in the ongoing fight against pancreatic cancer that his battle helped illuminate, and in the enduring power of a love story that continues to move us all. Patrick Swayze was more than a star. He was an inspiration. His light will forever on.